got to Jimmy Kimmel. What a world we live in. What a world. Jimmy Kimmel has been canceled, allegedly, based on the social reports. Depends on, what page you're looking at, who's reporting, of course. Allegedly for some statements or something in regards to Charlie Kirk. I don't know what it is. I just saw it, just in passing, as on my timeline. Gotta be careful what you say, I guess. It's been a lot of, emotions are still raw. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. Emotions obviously are still raw. And, like it or not, based on whether you're a supporter of his or not, or an opponent of his, he made an impact. And so people are still going to, this is really a hard time for his supporters. So therefore, what you say, you could be held responsible to the point where no matter what your occupation is, what kind of stardom you might have, it can affect, your position going forward. So just keep that in mind. What you might think is off the cuff, humor, whatever. There's people that really hold this Mr. Kurt in high regard. And I can respect that. You see, I'm just saying, it's just, I just think that the way this whole situation with his assassination and everything, whether murder, assassination, whatever you want to call it, the whole situation has been played out. And like I said, how it affects his supporters and people who have, that's totally on the opposite spectrum of his arguments and his politics. The emotions are still raw, because a lot of the people that support him are young people. And so I also saw one lady, I believe of African American descent, that apparently was allegedly, shouting some type of anti-Charlie Kirk rhetoric. And I believe she went to campus. I don't know if it's on the campus of Texas A&M or not, but I believe she attended Texas A&M. And I think that she was expelled from school based on the rhetoric that she was spewing. So people might say, well, what happened to free speech, First Amendment? Yeah, you can say what you want, but there's still blowback to what you say, of course. You know what I mean? So we're right in the smack of things just changing. You know what I mean? Laws don't mean anything. Man's laws really, after a while, they could do what they want. So, when you're dealing with man's law, they can change it. It can be the one way today, a different way tomorrow. That's basically how man's law operates. And people try to discover whatever loophole they can discover within the framework of man's law. And this is where we at. And we're a society, a country that's based on the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. But like I said previously, that's man's law as well. You know what I mean? So, and based on, a system where they were really just talking about the people that was in position of power, which were mostly white men and Anglo-Saxon white men or white men, period. So it is what it is. It's an ongoing violent cycle. It's just it is what it is. What can we do about it? We can talk and debate and have roundtables, just town hall discussions, but it really is up to that individual to dig deep within itself if it's capable, if that person is capable, and have an active, intervention, from a higher source. So to intervene and just maybe to speak some sense into some of these people who are potentially just triggered, apparently by politics and language, and no one's willing to debate. Every debate now, everything has to be, it seems like it's whatever you say is such, you're extremist, and there's no working together right now. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that are working for the betterment of the country, but there's still people that can be swayed and can be compromised, and they'll go for, because they're in a position where they're comfortable, that they'll go for any little thing and just attach themselves to something that I think that might not be politically correct for the majority of the country, but they just ride with it because they're in that tax bracket where they can get comfortable, and they're comfortable, and hey, why mess things up? So there you have it. Jimmy Kimmel canceled indefinitely. It was kind of, like I said, it depends on what page or site or timeline which was recommended to you. If you see that, I'm gonna say allegedly because I don't know for sure. I mean, I haven't been really looking at TV like that. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, like I said, emotions are still raw, and people still feel for obvious reasons, a certain way, wrongly or rightfully. So, and vice versa. So, that's why we should, be able to debate and have segments, podcasts, public forums, so we can get these ideas and out in the open. And to Charlie Kirk's credit, he did do that. He was out there, until his unfortunate passing. He was out there amongst his people, his group, his supporters, and having debates, and like I say, depending on with politics that you align yourself with his stance, then hey, you have that right. And but I'm not at a point where, hey, if you're opposite of what I like, or opposite what I think my vision could be, it's not like I want to go out and take you out the game. Nah, I'm not playing like that. No, nah, that's never the answer. But this is where we at, and we'd be naive not to acknowledge or not to think that that's a possibility. We see it on the nightly news every day. We see that they're scaring us with these tactics of extreme left, extreme right, extreme this, white supremacists, Antifa, drug dealers, gang members. It's the same old playbook. And I'll ask, do we really need our FBI controlling neighborhoods? Can't they do a better job maybe to monitor other things like white supremacy, um, threats, terror threats, or inside the country or whatever, whatever they can do. I'm sure they're doing something, but from what I'm hearing, the FBI is kind of short staffed. So, and some of their most experienced agents have either been let go, fired, or retired. So, one begs the question: how safe are we under the Trump administration? Biden is not in office anymore. I mean, whatever Biden did or lack of what he did, he's not. It's over with. Trump's, in control right now. So I had to ask him that question. And I'm sure he'll speak glowingly on Mr. Pastel's leadership. But it remains to be seen. But those are legit questions, I think. I think those are legit questions. I would like to, I would ask him that question. Are we safe? Are we, because I'm worrying about, the lack of staffing and experienced agents. And you know how sophisticated these criminals can be. So that's just a question I would like to ask him too, and just hear his answer, his response. That's all. That's debate. That's all it is to it. That's at least knowing what the vision is. That maybe we know. We know what the brand thing is, but just getting it, into his mindset a little bit, just as much. I mean, top secret, we can't talk about anything, but a general idea, But we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's enough for me. Stay frosty. Vanguardian 650. Peace.